Miles is a man that needs no introduction if you're a motorhead. But if you aren't, then I'll tell you who this British racing madman was. Born November 1st, 1918 in the beautiful town of the royal town of Sutton Coldfield. As a young whippersnapper, Ken had always had an interest in speed since probably out of the womb. When he was 11, he got his hands on a motorcycle. And as we all know, 11-year-olds are MotoGP prodigies. Yeah, just couldn't wreck that shit. But anyway, by 15, he had left school to work as an apprentice at Wolseley Motors to gain more knowledge. He raced motorcycles for a bit before joining the British Army in 1942. After getting out of the Army, he moved over to California in 1952, working as a service manager for British cars. He started to dominate the local scene with his own custom-built Oh my fucking god. He started to dominate the local scene with his own custom-built MG cars. Eventually, he started racing for Porsche, winning races in a car nicknamed the Pooper. Yeah, the Pooper. After a while, Ken's back-to-back wins and just racing skill and knowledge in general prompted Mr. Carroll Shelby to hire Miles as a competition manager and test driver. Ken was not just an amazing racer, he was also a stellar mechanic who knew how to fix a car's handling just from driving it. He was the backbone on developing the Shelby Cobra. Man, I wonder how much his arms hurt from carrying these motherfuckers all the time, yo. Now let's get to the meat of the video. Ford versus Ferrari. If you've seen the movie, you already know how Ken's story goes, but let's pretend you didn't. In the mid-60s, Henry Ford II, which was the owner of Ford at the time, wanted revenge on Enzo Ferrari since he didn't sell Ferrari to Ford. So what did Ford do? Ford hired Mr. Shelby to build a car that can beat Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Also, really quick, if you don't know what that is, the 24 Hours of Le Mans is the oldest endurance race, and the rules for winning is whichever driver can cover the most distance in the 24 hours wins, not who comes first. Keep this in mind. Shelby then hired Miles to be the chief test driver of the Ford GT40 prototype. Now, this is a video about Ken Miles, not Ford versus Ferrari, so I'm not going to get into much detail about that, but in 1966, Miles won the major 24 hours race at Daytona and the 12 hours at Sebring. He was going for a triple crown, and the last step was to win Le Mans. You know, he was doing good, and by the end, he was in first place. However, Ford wanted Ken to slow down so two other Ford GT40s behind him could finish at the same time for a nice little photo shoot. Anyway, he came first, but remember what I said about the rules for Le Mans? Le Mans ruled the car that started in the last grid traveled the farthest, so the award was given to his teammate, Bruce McLaren. Miles was given second place. You sons of bitches. After Le Mans, Miles went immediately back to make the GT40 better to win Le Mans once and for all. Unfortunately, on August 17th, 1966, at the Riverside International Raceway, Ken Miles was going 200 miles per hour coming off the track's 1 mile straight. Since the car was mostly designed for aerodynamics on top of its massive speed, it created lift in the rear tires causing traction loss. The car flipped multiple times, violently disintegrating before bursting into flames. The impact was so severe he was ejected from the car and hit his head at over 200 miles per hour, killing him instantly. But I'm glad he didn't suffer at least. After Ken's death, Ford mandated all future prototypes to have a heavy full-around roll cage. As for the GT40, it was heavily redesigned with revised aerodynamics and named the Ford Mark IV. It went on to dominate Le Mans. Over 400 people attended Ken Miles' funeral, including Carroll Shelby, his fellow mechanics and teammates. Shelby stated that, "We don't really know what caused it. We have nobody to take his place. Nobody. He was our baseline, our guiding point. He was the backbone of our program." Ken was put to rest at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. Man, what a sick-ass motherfucker.